Hey guys, today I'm making a quick video on HDL metabolism and generally what's going on with HDL throughout the body. So, HDL is also known as your good cholesterol or high density lipoprotein, and what it does is it's going to transport cholesterol from your blood vessels and from your cells and your tissues back to the liver. So if you remember from a previous video, we said that LDL transports cholesterol from the liver to blood vessels and tissues. Well, HDL does the opposite. So let's consider a case of a patient with very high cholesterol levels. So the cholesterol starts building up in their liver, and their liver says, I need to get rid of this. So they start shooting it out, making more and more LDL. This LDL is going to try to transport cholesterol to your target tissues, but eventually all the LDL receptors on your tissue get saturated and you're just getting a lot of free-floating LDL in your blood. This free-floating LDL will eventually become oxidized. And then your macrophage says, uh-oh, that looks foreign. I'm going to try to eat it up. So the macrophage will engulf this oxidized version of LDL using something called scavenger receptor A. And because it can't digest the oxidized LDL, it will die. A dead macrophage in your blood is then called a foam cell because it's going to stick to your artery walls and it's going to look like white foam because it's a white blood cell, and the buildup will look like a white plaque. Also because these plaques often get calcified, but let's just ignore the white part of that for a second. So your oxidized LDL is dangerous because your macrophages eat it, die, and become plaques. Now these plaques will get larger and larger as long as you have LDL there, because LDL will keep pumping cholesterol into the plaques themselves and making them grow and grow and grow until you have a full obstruction and you get either a heart attack or a stroke. So you definitely don't want a lot of LDL. So what HDL does is it's our guardian angel, and it's going to take cholesterol out of these plaques and out of your target tissues and move it back into the liver. So it's going to be our reverse transporter for cholesterol. How does it do this? So HDL is produced by the liver, and in its nascent form it's called Discoid HDL. It contains three important lipoproteins, ApoA1, C2, and E. After it's born and gets shot out into your blood, this Discoid HDL is going to start gathering cholesterol. So it gathers cholesterol in the form of cholesterol esters. How do we make and grab these cholesterol esters? Well, you're going to need an enzyme called LCAT, which is a lecithin cholesterol acyl transferase. So lecithin is the same thing as phosphatidylcholine, and that's important because the acyl group from this phosphatidylcholine is going to be transferred to your free-floating cholesterol in your blood in order for it to form cholesterol esters and then be packaged into HDL. So we have a cell over here. Let's say this is an endothelial cell. Cholesterol, it gets shot out of your cell because it's in excess through something called the ABCA1 transporter, and now it's in your blood. Well, we can't have this really polar molecule of cholesterol just floating around because it's hard to transport, so we're going to tack it on with an acyl group from phosphatidylcholine using the enzyme LCAT. So LCAT's going to rip a phosphatidylcholine off of your HDL, the discoid form, and it's going to use that acyl group in order to turn your cholesterol into a cholesterol ester. This cholesterol ester is then going to be packaged into your HDL, and you're going to form HDL3. Then this HDL3 gets more cholesterol ester packaged into it by the same method using another LCAT, and we form HDL2. Now you might be asking yourself what these numbers are. 3 and 2 just indicate density. So if we go from highest to lowest density, we have discoid HDL, HDL3, and HDL2. You might be asking, why is the density going down? Well, because we're adding more and more cholesterol esters, which are going to space things apart and make our molecule less dense. So HDL3 is actually more dense because it has less cholesterol esters than HDL2. This HDL2 is actually very important because it now has two choices. It can go be taken up by the liver using the SRB1 receptor found on the liver. So this is scavenger receptor B1. Remember, scavenger receptor A is on the macrophage for LDL. This is scavenger receptor B1 for HDL on the liver. And it requires ApoA1 to be seen. So HDL2 has ApoA1, C2, and E, and it requires ApoA1 to be taken up by scavenger receptor B1. Remember, C2 and E at this point are donated by HDL2 onto your VLDL or your chylomicrons. So that's also important to note. So your HDL2 has all three apolipoproteins on it. It can donate C2 and E, and it can also be taken up using ApoA1. HDL2 is full of cholesterol esters because we've been stuffing them in here the whole pathway. So what it can do is it can give these cholesterol esters to VLDL for redistribution back into the body. And to do this, it requires cholesterol ester transfer protein. So this basically forms kind of a channel between HDL2 and VLDL, and it's going to allow the transfer of triacylglycerols from VLDL to the HDL2. These will eventually end up into the liver because of SRB1. And we're going to transfer cholesterol esters from HDL2 to VLDL. Now VLDL, as you know, eventually gets converted to LDL, and then LDL will transport your cholesterol to your cells which are required. So they maintain this kind of homeostatic state. HDL moves cholesterol one way, LDL moves it the other way. You need a balance. So more of one or more of the other out of a specific ratio is not good for you either way. So I hope I've covered this in enough detail, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thanks, and see you in the next video.